담배 주인데 다 나름 좀 냠서 램베 가서 담보 잠로도 생기니가 담보 뒤는 거 퍼고 그래. 잠로 생기니데 다 가산다 킹님 봐 가랑가랑 셔 차와. 잠로 생기니가 뭐 법차네 되니 주인다라 틱바 멤버다. 틱바 첨보도 송하가 람라서 봐 랑란 주베 출 문자와 요래. 대 소소 나랑 간데라 무바 요래. 배나 틱바 년두게 틱바 따고 얘나 되니 현대에做了 감발라서 봐. 된다와라 나랑 무바 요래. 된다와가 랑란 juk 토근도 디 타르투 근데버 토고 요래. 야 만가시제 송추 선배가 람 생진 탕지게 단도바 생진게 단자 전부 세발라 가와 다 나랑 힘도 첨보요 된다왜 공사 요나 대 송추 선배가 람란 욕고 그래 대 송추 선배 람란 욕나 타르투 근데버 톱용고도 되니까 시제양 하 감발라 가근도 뭐 다와라 가근도 제름도 조름라서 봐 되니기 차라 가가요 된다와 요나 되니 엄보 nem보 샤랍 첨보 레동 만남지래 대연도 되는 송화 돌게 틱벨랑란 욕조고 요래 소수 나로 랑 간데라 가근도나 대란 욕고고 요래.
As we practice the holy Dharma, then first, whatever our practice be, then we begin by taking refuge and generating the supreme motivation of bodhicitta. Then as for the path of the practice, there are various paths of a lesser, greater scope, and finally the secret mantrayana path. If one has affinity with the path of the Shravaka or the Hinayana, then one can practice the mental tranquility meditation and ultimately arrive at fruition. Likewise, if one has affinity and motivation to work for all sentient beings, then one naturally gravitates toward the Mahayana teachings as if one is of a great courage, then this path also leads to the ultimate fruit. Or again, if one is favored by karma and gifted with compassion and diligence, then practicing the meditation on a divinity with mantra recitation, the stages of development and completion, Kerim and Zogrim, this is the Vajra path, which also will lead to completion. Whichever of the paths one chooses, then they all begin with the refuge and bodhicitta.
Tamji ngarang zong ong xu song tani la gong gandu ma da gandu da song ho ga lang xiu di yo de song ho ga lang ju pa da la tani song ho tam ki la xin de ne jo lam nyur ba de yan song wa de tani de la lam nyur be ge lam de kan ri yo de lam ram ba ni yo de je pe ram ba dang zo pe ram ba de song ho da la lam ni den ba de.
Having received empowerment, now, we all have entered the secret mantra vehicle, or the Vajrayana. This is the path of the most skillful means and the shortest, most direct path to enlightenment. The practice of the Vajrayana is divided into two stages, or two paths, that of the development stage meditation and that of the perfection stage meditation.
Tindawa yena, tinipena chini sei taba yena, tangbo, narange chivola, pemma carbon dama mumbo yoba chinchik, teye tando dave chinkorchik gongo gore. Tati tesi jepandawo gong, na?
So the path of development, called the Kerim, then has extensive and concise or more abridged forms of the practice. Of these, there are many, many different possibilities, and one chooses the possibility that is appropriate depending on one's personal wish or the circumstance of one's time and so on surrounding the practice situation. For example, if one feels for a more simple meditation, then one can practice the Chenresig, and this again has the longer and shorter or more extensive forms. Rinpoche, for example, says that in the Chenresig meditation we begin in an elaborate way. We can begin by visualizing the lotus on the crown of our head with a moon disk. On top of the moon, then we visualize the seed-syllable Shri. And this is the picture that Rinpoche is holding. This Shri represents the heart essence of Chenresig.
Teni mama pega la yang, teni pega lo tsawa tamji ke jagarnya samsika ki re te, yena pela lene pega ki la tsu drate jor songa re. Tata pega choga tamji de pega ki ke tani denga yora was. Teni pe te no yin, charang tsong dabo yena, pe na ti ke tenda te, charang tsong janmi ke ki la jor ne, teni ti janmi ke ki ke tani dena, ta ngarong tsong ka ha koga ma re te, yena te driga yore ngarong songa do. Nembe kapso. Dan dawa tusu ga shege zok de gong yung du, penan de shege, shetela, injin ke yege ke njogo zo kanri yore, den dawa gong na, te sengarang driga mendo dawa song mendo. Te kanyin sen na, pe ke yege ke zok de tangbo pe le yege yo mare. Teni jarbo sung zing gongbo zo chuji jarbo te pemne, digi kawla papan jombar yung go turba, tumu sambo cha. Thomas Humboldt to check Pevari, the Jagala ya Tangni, then chew Mombo Tikala Lapson, Coron Jamba Young Trapani. Then he Ma Peltane Pella Penny, then he peg a yege zook de Mama Sunji Yupik Kauga yege zo Nagaroga yege to Jitige zook de la Petine, then he peg a zook the Teddy song you marry. Corongabi Saba Zuson. Tige Pagan drug zote the Tambo poke the jagger your Nagaroga yege to Jitela pay yamare. Te Jagani Yirik Nimbati. Te Yendu Pen and Dige zote, then he poke the Sonji Yurge, then he drug zote. Then he Tom Yumba Pote, Thomas Sambot and Jamba Yung, Trubadi, De Latine, then he Dunda Tusu Gamna, Pega Yegi and Drog Zotera, Gamna Yagre, Narantan the song of the host.
When we practice the Chenresig meditation, for example, then Rinpoche thinks it's quite a good idea to translate the meaning of the words into an understandable form for ourselves, such as German or any other language. And this is the same as it was done in Tibet. The language, the meaning was translated into Tibetan. As for the Shri syllable, for example, Rinpoche thinks it's not such a good idea to translate this, and the logic behind this is that this letter is sacred in a sense. So the origins of this form come from the first Dharma Raj of Tibet, named Tsongtsen Gampo, who had as his minister an emanation of Manjushri in the form of Tumi Sambota. Tumi Sambota was a learned pandit and journeyed to India, learned all of the languages, and especially the forerunner of Sanskrit called Nagari. Then taking this Nagari, then he brought back this form to Tibet. And so the lineage and origin of this form is from a wisdom emanation of Manjushri, and therefore as it apports spiritual blessing and benediction, then we should not change it but honor the form. So the Hri, the white letter Hri, on the crown of our head, on a moon disc and lotus seat, instantly transformed into the fully perfected form of Chenresig, with one face and forearms white in color. This is the extensive form of visualizing the divinity on the crown of our head. The short form is simply after completing the preliminaries of refuge in bodhicitta, instantaneously on a lotus and moon disc on the crown of our head appears the fully perfected form of Chenresig. So this is called the development stage meditation. And developing one divinity or all divinities, the process is the same. And whether one develops oneself as the divinity or on the crown of one's head or in the sky in front of one, then the process is identical.
송지게 톡큐그 랑잘레 되니 야당가 라리 문라와도 되니 샤리용거래 되니 야당 뭐 탐지디 찍바래 큐그 찍그 랑잘레 샤르근도 되니데 소소라 샤르그베 좀진데 다 생진에 무바 나소반도와 가시제네 사 얍가 넘발라 가근도 가시제네 염가 넘발라 가근도 가시네 작보라 가근 가시 사몬보이 다 된다와 소소 무바요레 무바라 때네 때니 된다와 렉문다와 몬보이 샤바레.
Visualizing the divinity in this way, clearly, unobstructed, insubstantial like a rainbow, then Rinpoche said all divinities are of the same essence in this way. The reason for this is that all of these classes of divinities are the spontaneous expression of the Dharmakaya, emptiness or essential nature of the mind. For this reason, they are all of the same essence. Likewise, understanding that they appear in many different forms, only to help sentient beings who have different affinities. For example, some beings prefer a small white one, some people like a big black one, some people like with many arms and legs, some people like, and so on. There are many different forms. These are all in order to serve the different needs of beings.
Then Tiga Corte Sani Shogi, Terin Kamakashi, or an Aron to Tess, and Yomni Dubachagi.
Understanding all of these divinities as the self-expression of the Dharmakaya, then, the process of visualization or development stage is the skillful tantric method by which one purifies the 5 psychosomatic constituents, or aggregates, or called skandha in Sanskrit. With regards to this, Rinpoche will explain in more detail tomorrow.